And now, the Mickey Mouse Club presents Annette. Today's episode, the Turn Down Invitations.
Well, I was telling my niece, Annette's my niece, you know.
Yeah, I know. She's a real cool kid.
Yes, she is a real... Yes. Well, as I was saying, I was telling Annette how your father's folks and ours came here and settled in the early days.
Yeah, Pop's always sounding off about that, too. He says the smart ones came here to town and let it grow up around them and make them rich, while the rest of them just bought themselves a lot of hard work.
Nonsense. Your father has a fine ranch. Mighty fine.
Well, we kind of like it. Been nip and tuck most of the time hanging on to it, but we've all pitched in and helped, and now we don't even have a second mortgage.
Well, that's just great. Well, now I want to show you my books. I just got a brand new set of Encyclopedia Britannica. Fine edition, if I do say so myself. Oh, I'm writing my philosophical thesis.
Sounds great, but can you feed it to chickens?
No indeed.
Oh, there you are, Aunt Lila.
You're a little late, dear. I was just putting out a fresh dress for you.
Do I have to change?
Well, not if you don't want to.
Thank you. I brought one of the girls home from school to dinner.
Oh, how nice. Val?
No, it's Jet. Jet Maypen.
Jet Maypen.
Well, she sort of invited herself.
Next time, just say that you have to ask me before you can bring a guest home for dinner.
But Jet's my friend, Aunt Lila. My very best friend, and I like her a lot.
I'm sorry, Annette. I didn't mean to be unkind. But as I've told you before, I'd prefer that you went around with your own crowd, Val and Laura.
But I don't like Laura.
You don't like Laura? Why not?
Oh, I just don't, that's all.
I'm surprised at you, Annette. Laura's a charming young lady. She comes from a very fine Back Bay family. You'd be much better off to cultivate her and her little crowd instead of letting Jet monopolize your time.
I'm sorry, Aunt Lila.
Now, don't be upset. It's done, and we must do our best to make her feel at home. Now, freshen up, dear. I'll go down and welcome her.
Thank you.
Slippery little rascal, isn't it?
My brother tells me you had a nice chat about old times here in Ashford.
We sure did, but we couldn't quite decide who was the smartest, the folks who stayed in town or the ones who moved to the country.
It's fun living on a ranch.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about country life. There's something primitive about it, something old-fashioned and self-contained. Reminds me of...
The wheaten loaves, the nectar, the honey, the purple grapes, the foaming milk is in the old Greek tales.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
As I was saying, food produced on man's own land. Ah, delightful.
Reminds me of Bonnie's place. Makes me homesick.
Say, why don't you come out and visit us some Saturday? Spend the day.
Oh, I'd love to. That is, if Aunt Lila wouldn't mind.
Oh, she doesn't mind. I'll drive out myself. We'll make a day of it.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
There's nothing I'd rather do than have a nice long visit with Jim, talk over old times.
How about next weekend?
Fine. Saturday morning, bright and early.
It's a deal. I'll tell Pop. Oh, boy, I'm so full of fried chicken, I'm about ready to cackle.
Yeah, Katie's a real keen cook.
I'll say. You mean this is your room? All by yourself?
Mm-hmm. It was my grandmother's room.
It sure is neat. You know, you're a pretty lucky kid, living in a big, lovely house like this and having such keen folks as your aunt and uncle.
Yeah, I guess I am. But somehow I'm beginning to feel that I really don't belong here.
What's biting you now?
Oh, Aunt Lila wants me to go around with Val and Moselle.
You mean instead of me?
Oh, no, it's not that. It's just that she thinks I ought to be more friendly with Laura.
That schmo.
Aunt Lila thinks she's nice.
I take it you haven't told her about that necklace business, have you?
No,
Why not?
I don't know. I guess I'm afraid to. She just wouldn't understand.
Well, how do you know unless you tell her?
Maybe I shouldn't have come here to Ashford in the first place. Maybe I ought to go home to Bonnie.
Running out before you even put up a decent fight.
I'm no match for Laura. She's so smart and sophisticated, I just don't know how to fight her.
Well, you're gonna have to do it sooner or later. Look, why don't you just walk right up to her and look her straight in the eye and say, "Come on now, you. If you think I took that dumb necklace, say so in plain English. If you don't, put up or shut up."
You sound like Mike.
Then why don't you listen to him? Mike's a real solid guy, and he's had plenty of problems to face. You don't see him running out on anything, do ya?
No.
Of course not. He knows the best way to lick a situation is to face it. And if you ask me, the sooner you do it, the better.
Do what?
Clip that green-eyed cat's whiskers.
Where's Laura?
She could have lunch with Stephen.
Val, you know, we simply must do something about Annette and Laura.
You got any ideas?
There must be something we can do to straighten things out between them. Well, this is just all too silly.
I'll say. I tried talking to both of them, but I get nowhere fast.
Me too. Laura just won't give an inch.
Neither will Annette. She feels Laura owes an apology. Sure getting sick and tired of all this fussing and feuding.
What about the barbecue Saturday?
Annette'll probably turn us down when she finds out Laura's going.
I know, they're barely even speaking.
Laura's sure being pig-headed.
Well, she's convinced Annette took the darn thing.
But why? It could have been any one of us.
Val, how can you say such a thing?
Well, something happened to it. Sure, it's a mystery.
Have you told your mother about it yet?
I don't dare. She'll tell Miss McCloud, and then the lid would really fly off. You know, I think Stephen's going to ask Annette to be his date Saturday.
Oh, no, that's all we'll need. Laura'll skin her alive when she finds out.
Oh, Annette. Wait a minute, will you?
Hi, Steve.
Have you talked to Val today?
I saw her for just a minute between classes. Why?
Did she tell you about the barbecue?
Barbecue?
Yeah, we're gonna take the whole gang on an old-fashioned hayride and wind it up at our place at Spring Branch for a barbecue.
Sounds like fun.
Well, how about it?
Is this an invitation?
I'm asking you to go.
I'd love to.
Good. I'll pick you up at 10 sharp Saturday morning.
Saturday? This Saturday?
Well, you didn't expect us to skip school, did you?
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't go.
Why not?
Well, I have to go with...
So somebody beat me to the punch, huh?
No, it's not that. You see...
Okay, forget it.
No, you don't understand.
Yes, I do. You've got a date with somebody else, and he's a lucky guy. So, better luck next time. I'll see you.
Hi, Mike.
Oh, hi, Annette. Say, this must be my lucky day. I was just wishing you'd beat the mob.
They're all making dates for the barbecue Saturday.
Have you got an invitation?
Yes, I do, but...
Swell. Will you go with me?
You're too late, old man. We're both out of luck. She's already got a date.
No, I don't, Steve. Not the way you think.
Oh, swell. You just don't want to go with me, huh?
Or me?
Oh, I'd love to have gone with both of you. But my uncle and I were invited to spend the day with the Maypens.
Well, why didn't you say so in the first place?
You didn't give me a chance.
If I know your uncle, I'm sure he'd much rather stay at home and mess around with his books than go gallivanting out in the country.
No, he wouldn't. Mr. Maypen's an old friend of Uncle Archie's, and he hasn't seen him for years.
What do you say, Mike? Shall we both take her, or shall we toss for her?
No, please, I can't go. Honestly, I can't.
Well, let's call up your uncle. I'm sure he won't mind.
Yes, he will. He's all excited about going, and I just can't let him down.
Well, can't you go out another day?
We were invited for Saturday. I'm sorry.
You mean you won't? Okay, if you can't, you can't. And that's that.
Guess there's just one thing left for us to do.
Yep, there's no use getting into a hassle over it. She turned us both down.
Then how's about drowning our sorrows in a couple of double milkshakes? My treat.
I'm just as disappointed as you are, and just as thirsty.
Make it 3.
Okay, 3 double milkshakes coming up.
Next episode, Annette makes a decision.